welcome to episode number 6 of Let's Talk Vinyl with Anthony and Trey Busch.
What's going on, Anthony?
Oh, dude, first of all, I want to let you know, I have a funny story to tell everyone because I think today was a pretty exciting day in the world of wine and Anthony Krysiewicz. So, in past episodes, I have said that when it comes to wine, if I have any questions, I immediately text Trey because I want to impress my friends. I don't know where to buy wine. I keep going to my local food store. So Trey said, we're going to talk about this wine. Go get it. I FaceTimed Trey. Trey saw as I was going around the food store. Nobody knew anything about wine. Within 15 seconds of him searching on Google, we find out we have this magnificent wine store within 15 minutes of my house that I never even heard of. And we go there. I was able to get the bottle of wine, which we're drinking tonight, which Trey's going to educate us on. And I'm even more official now because since the last episode, and you told me that I can't drink out of a cup anymore, I officially have a wine glass. And
you have 2 wine glasses. You bought 2. It came in a set.
It did come in a set, yep. And
Right.
I officially, you could call me an owner of a decanter.
Look at that. That is fancy shit right there, Anthony. My favorite. I gotta tell you, man. When you FaceTime me today, and you were like, "Hey, man, I'm walking into the my grocery store," and let me tell you, like in Seattle, for instance, you walk into a grocery store in Seattle, like QSC, which is owned by Kroger, but anyway, you go in their wine departments and they're massive, and it's literally its own wine shop, just like the shop you're in today. All high end stuff. You walk through that. What is it? A food giant?
A food lion.
Food Lion. We had Food Giant in Georgia where I grew up.
Yeah.
So when you walked into that Food Lion and you held the phone up to the selections you're going across, like that is so poor.
You're like, dude, Anthony, where's the world selection? I'm like Trey, I said,
this
this one's got a flag on it. Does that mean anything? You're like,
and then you walked up and then you're like, there's some employee, like, excuse me, sir, I need some help in the wine section. And he looked at you and was like, I can't help you, man.
Nobody wanted to help. There was not a single person that wanted to help me get this. But listen, I'm official now. I feel like 6 episodes in, I'm starting to get my way around the wine, but I really want to know. So what the hell is this that I purchased?
All right, so it's a decanter.
Okay.
You got that right. And the reason you decant wines is a couple of different reasons. Younger wines, like what you purchased, it's the same reason when you have a wine glass and you swirl it, right? The reason you swirl it is to get air into the wine. By getting oxygen into the wine, it helps open up all of the aromatic things that you smell, all the aromas, and even it opens up the flavors. So, for instance, if you took a bottle of wine, popped it, poured it, and drank it, and then took the rest of the bottle and put it in your decanter, aired it out a little bit, right? Get a little oxygen in there, and then 5 minutes later even, pour yourself a glass, it's completely different.
So if I took a sip of this just from the bottle, and then I took it, and then I drank from this in the glass, it'd be different.
It should be, for sure. So you didn't decant the whole thing, you just decanted a little bit of it.
Yeah, but half a bottle.
Okay.
All right, let's. It is fucking good though.
It's pretty delicious.
Dude,
so
that
now,
is.
if you pour that in your glass, and look, I don't. This show is about learning about wine, but I don't want to get super geeky. But there are different wine glasses, different wine glass shapes for all the different varietals that you have out there. So, for instance, Syrah has a glass shape that is different than, say, Pinot Noir. Pinot Noirs are like a bigger bowl, and so, yeah. So this is like what you have right there is a classic Bordeaux varietal glass, and that would be Cabernet Merlot Malbec, which is what you have in your glass right now, from Argentina, and Petit Verdot is the other one, but.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Trey. I was waiting to like not buy into it. I was gonna be like, I'm just gonna bullshit and say I tasted it, right? I don't know what it was. There's a difference. It
Yeah.
feels it almost feels lighter in a way. Is that weird
Well,
to
I
say?
will tell you the other thing about the wine glasses, and the reason I brought that up is because a wine glass mouth is shaped to deposit the wine. I'm not bullshitting with you, okay? So in other words, if this is a wider mouth, it'd have less of a curvature to it, right? Where that deposits that wine in your mouth affects the way it tastes, and certain varietals. So, for instance, you're drinking a Malbec. So, if you're
Hmm.
drinking Cabernet, Merlot, Malbec, the Bordeaux varietals, where that hits on your tongue should enhance and make that wine taste better. And I have sat through a Riedel tasting, which is a wine glass company, and they've taken the same wine, same bottle, poured it in four different wine glasses, and when you smell it and taste it, they smell different and they
Wow.
taste different, all because of the way that the shape of the glass. So, but it's a complicated answer to your question, which was, why a decanter? And the simple answer is the decanter will allow air to get into that wine, oxygen, to open that wine up and hopefully make it express itself in a better way.
Dude, it tastes fabulous. Now, am I holding the glass right? How do I hold a glass? Because I
I,
feel
I,
like
I like holding it a little higher,
okay,
okay, and not touching the bowl, but like right there,
yeah.
and that way you can get your swirl on like
Oh, a
that.
swirl on.
Look at that! Look at you, just
Yeah,
like a master.
I, you know, this is I feel like it right now. Mm. Dude, I'm telling you, it's crazy that like I'd go to wineries with my wife and whatever, and we drink wine, and I would always be like, I'd always go to like either the most expensive bottle because I always thought that was it. And the more I'm learning about it and learning about the different blends and how things are going, like it is amazing. Like I wouldn't expect like this wine that we got today.
Right?
I would overlook this because the label. I know this sounds crazy, but the label would never stand out enough to me. But like this
Yeah, that's a
bottle,
pretty classic. That's a very classic wine label, right?
hmm,
So let's talk about the grape real quick.
sure,
It's Malbec, and Malbec is synonymous with Argentina. However, it's not a native Argentinian grape. It's native to Bordeaux. And Bordeaux, of course, is in France. But when people think about Bordeaux, they think about Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot and Cabernet Franc to a lesser degree, and then you've got Malbec and you've got Petit Verdot, and those two grapes have usually been looked at as blending grapes rather than dominant grapes. Like you won't go to Bordeaux and find a 100% Malbec. There's a little region outside of Bordeaux, and they call Malbec Cot, C-O-T, and so it's the same grape. It's just a different region just outside of Bordeaux.
okay,
But Argentina adopted the grape. They grow a lot of different things in Argentina. You can buy Cabernet and you can buy Syrah, and they grow pretty much everything we grow here in the New World and over in the Old World. But what they made their name for was Malbec, and it's just a grape that does very well for their climate. It's also you don't have to go that high. Yeah. Mm, that's good.
sorry. This is
Well, see,
extremely
but
good.
now you can't swirl it.
Oh, hold on. Now you're testing it. I can swirl this.
Well,
God,
just
hold on.
you like playing with fire, man. I love it.
I can swirl now. I just took.
But look, so Malbec is it's proven itself extremely adaptable to Argentina's climate, not only the climate, but where they grow grapes. One of the highest production vineyards in the world is in Argentina. It's grown at almost, what was it, like 2,200 meters, which is almost 6,600 feet elevation. It's very, very high to grow grapes. Just to give you an example, Walla Walla, we're at 800, 1,600 feet. That's where and Napa is kind of the same, right? Napa is almost sea level all the way up to maybe 2,000 feet at the highest. So, but Malbec has proven itself to be resistant to frost. So you imagine being at a high elevation like that, you're going to get pretty extreme winters and stuff, it's proven itself up as a very hardy grape. So
Okay.
that's why it sort of flourished in Argentina, and they're certainly the most well known for that grape as a single varietal. But they grow Malbec all over the world. We grow it here in Washington. I've made one Malbec in my entire life,
So
and that's
so
the reason
so
we're
at
doing the show tonight.
sleight of hand, you've only made one Malbec.
I've only made one Malbec one time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's um, not a very popular wine. For instance, perfect example. You went to a grocery store today to try to find a Malbec, couldn't find it anywhere. So it's not the most popular grape, which means a lot of people don't know about it, which means it's just more difficult on the back end to go sell that wine. The reason we made it was because one of the growers that we were working with was a good friend of mine named Damon Lalonde. And Damon, um, we were buying Cabernet and Merlot and Cabernet Franc from this particular vineyard for a number of years. And Damon came to me, he's like, hey, man, we had a buyer back out of this half acre of Malbec. I'm like, you got no need for Malbec. And he's like, hey, come by and taste it. Next time you come out to the vineyard, I'll walk the roads with you. And so we went and walked, and like, they tasted really good. He's like, I'll give you a great deal on the grapes. So I convinced my business partner, Jerry, and we brought these grapes in and fermented them just black as night, super, super dark,
Hmm.
really grapey. Like, you think about grapes, like the smell of grapes, that's what the fermentation smelled like, which is very interesting. It's typically not what you smell. And the finished wine, we thought, well, we'll put it in one of our blends. It ended up being so good that I bottled it by itself, and we only bottled them in magnums, which is basically 2 bottles of wine, not 1 bottle of wine. And that wine was called Rearview Mirror. And so that's the reason we're doing the song tonight, is in dedication to obviously a great fucking song, but also to the Malbec that we made, that one vintage. And I want to say it was 2013. And the best part about it was that we ended up uh, getting one of the highest ratings we've ever had on any of our wines from Jeff Dunnick, who's a wine reviewer for Wine
Wow.
Advocate magazine at the time, and now he's on his own. But it was one of the highest scoring Malbecs in Washington State, and so that was kind of cool. But we haven't made it since, and um,
Now let me ask you this, Trey. If someone listening or watching or however wanted to buy this from me, is this something that is no longer in existence, or do you
it
have
was
some
it
left
was
over?
sold out. It was sold out in a couple of days.
Holy shit!
Yeah, we only made it was basically 50 cases of wine, and that's 50 cases would be 600 bottles. But these are magnums, so I only had 300 magnums
Because they
of
sold in
these
the
of these.
pairs. Gotcha.
Yeah, and so
Holy.
in our wine between our wine club and our mailing list, and then just the people who saw the press and stuff, it was gone pretty quickly. So,
Wow.
but
That's that. Well,
yeah,
I mean, that's kudos to you that you're able to do something like that. Now, there was something you had said that was really interesting to me because I know that you work on you have the vineyard up there, but you were able to go to another vineyard, get a half acre of like worth of grapes to bring them over. Is that something typical for the wineries to do? Is to get grapes from other, I guess, growers or harvesters to make their own wine?
it's very common in Washington. Europe, it's less common. A lot of in Europe, they're generation old wineries. They're fourth, fifth, 30th generation wineries, all the way back to 1300s, 1400s, right? Same family. For us, we're a brand new wine industry. So Washington really developed its wine business and wine industry around finding, going out and getting grapes. Like we were a brand new winery. We didn't have the money to go buy 10 acres of land and plant a vineyard and then wait 3 years before you can even make any wine off of it. And so, um, having worked at 2 other wineries previous to starting Sleight of Hand, I had all these relationships with growers around the state of Washington, and was able to go in when we started the winery and establish relationships and get grapes immediately, so we could start a winery and start making wine right away. And at the same time, uh, maybe 3 years later, we purchased our first vineyard, and different estate vineyards around the state. But we still buy fruit from other vineyards. So we
Okay.
not only have our estate stuff, but we still buy fruit from other vineyards simply because they're good enough, and we can't replicate what they're growing
Sure.
because that's their land. Their
Different
land is
soil.
going to be
Yeah.
different than our land, the soils, and that's what influences the taste of the wine. One of the things that influences the taste, and so just trial and error and just doing it for 20 years now have come to sort of establish where we want our grapes to be grown, whether they're estate vineyards or whether we're still buying from established growers that we've worked with for years already. So,
Now,
but that's a good question.
listen, I've been doing this for, I guess I'm going on, I don't know, 3 years doing shows. I tend to, one out of every 100 questions I ask tend to be a halfway decent one. So I feel like I'm doing something, doing due diligence. Now, with this wine, what would be a good pairing with this? Is this something that you would, is this kind of like a snack wine, or is this something that you would have a full meal with?
This is a meat and potatoes wine for sure. I mean, this is a Malbec is a hearty grape. It's rich and full bodied. Um, they can be tannic, which is that feeling you get when you drink the wine. You can feel in your tongue and the side of your mouth that almost like a texture.
Mm-hmm.
But they, just depends on the producer too. They can be super polished. Like the one I'm drinking tonight. These are from some good friends of mine down in Napa, and this is not a common grape really in Napa either. But this is called Lagier Meredith, and it's Steve Meredith and Steve.
Bring more to your left, Trey.
Yeah, Steve and Carol Meredith. Left, my
Yeah, there you
left.
go. Perfect. Right there.
There we go. All right. This is 2013. It's from Mount Veeder. This is our estate property. And Carol Meredith is a UC Davis professor, and she was a teacher in winemaking down in Napa. She's got a master's degree in enology, and her husband own this beautiful property up on Mount Veeder. They make a tiny amount of wine every year, so it's pretty much a mailing list only winery.
Wow.
They're so well known, and they've got such a good following. And I just kind of know them over the years in the wine business, and we trade wines every once in a while. So,
That's
um,
pretty. That's pretty
but
awesome.
it's fun to pour this because it's not a common varietal in Napa. It's like they have some Malbec down there, but you don't really find a lot of Napa Malbecs. So,
No,
what do you think? How's that Cuvelier de Los Andes tasting?
so I'm on my second glass. It is what I like about it. It's not very heavy. It's light. So, but the problem is, I'm probably going to stumble up the stairs later because my wife jokes about the show. She says after the show, I stumble my ass upstairs and then I jump in the bed because it's 9 o'clock. Well, it's 9:19 here. So by the time I'm done with
I'm
this,
apologizing already. Then
don't apologize. It is what it is. She'll be fine. She'll deal with it.
it's Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. That's right. What do they call it? It's called Twisted Tuesday. Whatever. But no, what I like about this one, and especially after, so it's weird because as soon as you had me taste it from the bottle in retrospect to the decanter, I definitely tasted a lighter. It was very lighter, it seemed heavier out of the bottle. I do understand what you're saying about like the texture on the side of on your tongue, on your side of your mouth, and even on your teeth a little bit with this blend in retrospect to
Yep.
the past ones. But I do like this one. I kind of want to have like this, and maybe I know you said it's meat and potatoes, but I almost would like to have this with some cheese.
Cheese, like a fat cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheese is always a good pairing with wine, whites or reds. And the reason being is because wines are acidic and cheese is fatty. And those two things go together really well. The same reason that with red wines, with a tannin and acid and a fatty steak, those are a great pairing as well because what they do is they balance each other out. And so that's why a cheese and wine pairing is always a good choice.
Wow, it's interesting because like I said, I just know the basics. What I've seen in movies and stuff. That's all I know. But it's interesting because I'm gonna invite people over and I'm gonna come out like with my decanter and be like, wine everybody. I'm gonna get fancy. I'm telling you, it's gonna get to the point where people are gonna think I know what the fuck I'm
Listen,
talking about.
the goal is before the end of this year, you're gonna be hosting a wine and cheese party at your house and you're gonna blow away your friends. That's gonna be the goal.
I can do it. I can do
All
it.
right.
And if depending on how things are, it'll be socially distanced or we'll be on top of each other. I have no idea. We'll see how things go.
I hope we'll be on top of each other. I'll tell you that.
Well, not to get, well, first of all, the fact that I've been educated on wine for the last 21 minutes is absolutely amazing because I always enjoy talking about you because the way you talk about things, you make it the fact that like someone like me who has been a beer guy his entire life, I don't drink liquor really, so I've been beer my entire life, can understand and appreciate what you're saying. Because a lot of times I was turned off by wine and getting into wine because I felt like it was above me. Like I felt like, I was not good enough to be drinking wine. And we had conversations where you're like, dude, it's I'm like, because I will never forget the first.
It's all that snooty stuff. That's everything I hate about the wine business.
Mm.
Like that's the reason we advertise our brand like this, right? It's like, instead of a golf shirt and a golf hat that you find in most tasting rooms, right? Yeah. So.
Well, like I said, I can appreciate that. I mean, it is very, because like I said, I like this better than some of the beer I had the other day when I went to a brewery for the first time and they were giving me, I'm like, there was some shit I was like, this is disgusting. I would prefer this over some of the beer I've had recently.
And this is about $20 retail, I think.
Yeah, so there was 3 bottles we could have chose from. This one was the more expensive one at $23.99. And to be honest with you, based off of some of the price I saw in the wine shop, this wine shop might have been on the higher end. Like they were just pricing it a little bit above to make, and that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited that I found this because I plan on spending more money there. The other ones that were from this in the Malbec, there was one that was like $19.99. There was one that was like $21. So in that $20 range is where you're going to spend on this.
Well, it's not terrible. You're gonna get a good bottle of wine for $20.
Yeah.
You should. I mean, there's so much out there at that price point of high quality that and that certainly should be one of them too. So.
No, I do this now. First of all, here, we're going to break this down a little bit. Let me tell you how the show's going to go. First of all, we've been educated by the master himself. I gave him the master. I don't care what he says, the master Trey, with everything about this one. And this is a great one. Thank you for the recommendation. We're going to talk about Rearviewmirror and some of the facts and statistics. I got a lot of them up on top. But first, before we do that, I want to we haven't done this before. And, maybe I'm wrong for doing this, but it is what it is. I want to toast somebody. Somebody in the Pearl Jam community has been dealing with cancer for a while. He's fighting it really hard. There's a lot of things going on. So I want to raise a glass to Mr. Art, who has been a big supporter of us. And I want to say, dude, this is for you. I hope everything goes well for you. I'm praying for you. Good vibes.
I saw him today. He had a Stickman sticker with him. I think he was heading into treatment today.
Yeah, man. Listen, everything you're going through, man, I couldn't explain. I couldn't imagine. So, dude, sending positive vibes. Cheers to you.
Cheers, you Art.
Now, we're going to talk about Rearviewmirror. We're going to talk about Trey posted the other day about doing some shit with Sub Pop, which is mind blowing to me. We're going to talk about the fact that Trey is shouting out on Pearl Jam Radio with everything he's doing. We're going to talk a lot of stuff. This might be a long episode, so buckle up, open the bottle of wine. I'm pretty sure I'll be slurring my words towards the end. But let's break into this shit heavy now. Let's talk about Rearviewmirror. First of all, let's talk about a fun, interesting fact, right? Let me pull this up so I have the actual images on my computer so we can talk about things. What's interesting to me is, this was first played in 1993, May 13th at Slim's Cafe in San Francisco. It was number 11 on the playlist, and it was right after Hard to Imagine and right before Better Man. Now, what's interesting to me is I don't think we would see that placement of Rearviewmirror now. We're not going to see Rearviewmirror in between Hard to Imagine and Better Man ever again. Unique to the time.
That's crazy because I love that. I love Hard to Imagine. It's such a beautiful song, and what a transition straight into Rearviewmirror. So that had to be a secret show, right? Slim's Cafe.
So it was actually the first show on the tour in 1993.
Okay. That was for sure a secret gig then.
1993. Yeah, May 13th was the first one. I mean, there's not much information about it. So if I click on it, there was 23 songs played. Opened with Animal, ended with Sonic Reducer. So pretty good
Oh,
thing.
Sonic Reducer too.
Yeah. Do you? And now I will tell you this. Do you know what song was played at the show? A rare one at best. Dirty Frank was played at this show.
Dirty Frank.
Dirty Frank was
Wow.
played number 13. So in theory, just so you can imagine this, put this in retrospect, right? So Dirty Frank's only been played 7 times. It went Hard to Imagine, Rearview Mirror, Better Man, Dirty Frank. If that isn't the
I'll never
most
have it.
roller coaster fucking wave of
Yeah.
music.
But that's like, and that's, you think about this, Dirty Frank and Hard to Imagine. You had to be, and this is '93. I don't know where you would have ever heard those songs unless you had like one of the early bootlegs,
Yeah,
right?
so I tried
Like
finding
I
that.
started collecting bootlegs. I started collecting bootlegs in like maybe '93, that '93 to '96 time frame when they were running rampant, and then you'd find these old songs, and so, or not old songs, but just songs that that's pretty awesome.
It is interesting. So, I'm actually, as someone who's texted me if that was the Barking Seals show, I don't know if that was or not. I'm looking on here right now to see if that was.
Oh, I remember that. I thought the Barking Seals was down in L.A. or something, but I could be wrong there too. So
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it was this one. But so, it's interesting. And this is the one thing I love about doing this is like when we go back in shows, this show, and I'm not trying to harp on the show, but it's interesting, this set list. It opened with Animal, went into Go, then to Even Flow, Blood, Daughter, WMA, Dissident, Why Go Alive. That is a
so
straight.
they're basically like pounding 10 in verses right at you. And
Oh,
this is
yeah,
the
dude.
first time anyone heard verses. This is the
Oh,
first time anyone heard verses too.
yeah, first time. Then Hard to Imagine, Rearview Mirror, Better Man,
Great.
Dirty Frank, Rats. So Dirty Frank and a Rat, Babber O'Reilly, Once, Jeremy, Porch, Release, Alone, Whipping, Leash, Sonic Reducer. I pray to.
Alone.
Yeah, dude. How this is, I want to hear this show. Like, how the hell is this not
Listen,
like a vault show?
I take that 23 song set list over almost any other 35 song set list. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
quality of that is dynamite.
It's nuts.
I'll talk to Sam
Honkin'
about
Seals was Santa
Sam
Cruz in
about that.
1997, by the way.
There we go. I'll ask Tim why this is not a vault show, and if they, it could be they just don't have the audio, but um,
Well, yeah, because you got to think about this. Back then, I can't imagine that that was the first thing on their mind was like, let's record this. All right.
well, I mean, when
Go
did
ahead.
when did they start? When did they really start soundboard recording their stuff?
It's interesting because so when I had interviewed Rob Bleedstein a couple of years ago, he had said that Pearl Jam had started reaching out to fans that had that had recorded some stuff because they were going to start utilizing
Right.
on on Pearl Jam's
Like
radio.
the DATs and
Yeah, and they've started utilizing it. And some of the stuff actually sounds really good, and I kind of like that tape collection scenario. I've always enjoyed that, even though it's not crystal clear. It's kind of makes it. It just makes it special. I don't know, man. Because now here's the thing, though, too. Like we're getting vaults from '94 and '93, so there has been some recordings of some stuff. It's just
Right.
what did they record?
right.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. But here, fact number 2. Most
All right.
songs played before Rearview Mirror. Number 1, Black, 36 times. Insignificance is number 2 with 26 times. Number 3, Lucan with 21 times. And Jeremy is
Ooh,
number...
looking into real. That's a great one.
That is, dude.
Oh.
But I'll tell you something. Jeremy into Rearview Mirror, the bass lines into the good... So heavy bass up front with Jeremy. Into that guitar heavy front, right? Dude, that is a
But
beautiful pitch.
also, but remember, that's Jeff's bass in that song. I've said it a million times. He's one of the most underrated bass players in the world. But that bass intro in the rearview mirror, and we get to hear it soon. And also, like, I love like I know we're already talking about the song, but I love the breakdown right before it goes fucking ballistic when Eddie starts, talking about how he saw things, right? But that boom, 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 it's all you hear is the fucking bass. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, I love that so much. It's so good.
So here. So I was just asked a question from Don. Wasn't Atlanta '94 the first time playing Better Man? Actually, based off of livefootsteps.org, which is where we get all of our facts from, May 13 at Slim's Cafe, San Francisco, California was the first play Better Man was actually played. So Better Man and Rearview Mirror were both played for the first time at Slim's Cafe. What the fuck is Slim's Cafe? Is that even a place anymore? Because if not, that needs to be a historical, monumental treasure. I'm just going to put that out.
Right, right. Let's hope it's still open.
Yeah, if it is still open, that's right. So yeah, so that's four big songs. But it's interesting because if you look at how those songs are played, Black is very different than Insignificance, Lucan and Jeremy. Luke and Jeremy.
Real quick, I gotta give a shout out to my boy Tony Bounds from Memphis, Tennessee. I know he's watching on here. He keeps blowing up my text.
Dude, I guess we must have picked the right wine and things because I'm getting text messages and things from us too. Seems like it's a popular episode. So so four great songs opening up with it. It's interesting. Now let's go into fact number 3, which is the most songs played after Rearview Mirror, which is interesting to me because here's the thing about Rearview Mirror. Rearview Mirror and Corduroy are very, very much known to be like a set 1 closer. Like it closes set 1 for that break into set 2. But there have been many times in the past that, over the years that this does, fit into the next song. The most songs played after Rearview Mirror, Elderly Woman Behind a Counter in a Small Town, 31 times played after Rearview Mirror. Immortality, which is a completely different song than Elderly Woman, 24 times. Alive is 23 times, and Whipping is 21 times. I would say 4 completely different songs and 4 different completely keys playing directly after Rearview Mirror. Interesting to me. Out of those 4 songs, which one do you think is the best fit for Rearview Mirror?
Well, Rearview Mirror is so fast. It's hard to imagine they could even go into hard to imagine. See what I did there?
Ooh.
But when they go into Whipping, like to go from Rearview Mirror straight into Whipping, it just seems exhausting. Like I'm gonna guess that Rearview Mirror into Whipping is the closing song of whatever set that is, right? It's always gonna be closing to set 1 or set 2, right? And so that to me seems just like a fucking barn burner. But I don't know if I have a preference of what they go into. Like Immortality is so slow and brooding. But the storyline, because Rearview Mirror is just so. What's up, Shermer? My Memphis crew's on tonight. But like Immortality, Rearview Mirror is it's the ultimate breakup song, right? I mean, it's just the ultimate double fuck you, and then to go into like something like Immortality, which is also a pretty. I'm not gonna say Rearview Mirror is a depressing song. It's not at all. I just get pumped up with it. But the lyrics of it are, I guess there's some redemption in that. I don't know.
We're reading into this. My thought would be, I guarantee you that it's Rearview Mirror, Break, and then Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town is set 2. I would say Immortality is set 2. I would say Alive might be the closer of set 1, and I would say Whipping is the closer of set 1 because those seem very similar in the guitars they already have, the bass they have, the setup. So I guarantee it's in the same key and tuning that they can use the same instruments from Rearview Mirror into those 2 songs.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into fact number 4. Interesting enough.
Glass number 2.
Dude, this is like I'm trying to slow down, but I am feeling it. Like this is nice and heavy. This is good. My wife is gonna.
What's the alcohol level on yours say?
I don't know. Hold on. I might have to refill the decanter. We're at that point.
Usually not shy. This is 14.8. That's high. Imagine drinking a 750 mil of a 14.8 beer.
This is 750 mil, 13.5.
5. So cool climate, high elevation over there in the Andes, right? So that makes sense.
We're feeling it. Feeling it. Now, let me do my swirl with my proper hand placement. 65% of the time, this song is played within either number 16 or 20 in the set list, which shows you that this is very much either closing set 1 or it is very close to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's moving on to fact number 5.
Your math skills are so good.
No, listen,
you go through and find that shit, and you're like, you find out where this played, and you're like, well, it looks like there's a large percentage between 16 and 20. Let's see how many there are.
We are very, let me explain something. That we are very grateful to have the ability to go online and find these websites that fans like myself and like you have spent so many years developing all these facts to come into and have for us to use. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But before I get into that, one thing I found interesting, I didn't realize this, is that it's open 13 total shows. I think hearing Rearview Mirror open a show would be something like almost just, dude, that's almost, because Rearview Mirror, if you're in the car and you hear that, and the drum hits, you're ready to hit the fucking gas and go. Like, there is nothing slowing you down from getting pumped by this song. And I mean,
that's like if you were in the dead of sleep, okay, just middle of fucking REM, like you're just gone, right? Someone walks up to you and open hand slaps you right across the face. That's what opener of Rearview Mirror would feel like.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and the crazy thing, it is, and oh god, gathering up speed from you fucking with me. I can't tell you how much I love those lyrics, and I am gonna tell you something too. With everything that has gone on in the last couple months, like. That those lyrics have just spoke to me so much that it's just like it pushes you. Love this song. Anyway, before I go,
if I worked out, that'd be my workout song.
If you worked, dude, wait, are you telling me you don't work out? Wait, dude, the reason this camera angle is on a downward trajectory on a side is because it slims me. If I was straight on, you would see everything kind of fall apart. Oh, Jesus.
Genetics and wine. Wine's good for you, man.
Well, I get. You know what?
Beer is more fattening, I think.
I get. You said it. You said. I guess I'm gonna have to decanter this for the next round of wine. Up. I think that's the bottle. Yep.
That's the one.
Well.
All right.
We never said that this was going to be a non-interesting show. We made sure it was going to be interesting. Anyway, so open a total of 13 shows, which is extremely interesting because it is not what you would commonly say as an opener in retrospect.
I've never seen it as an opener of all my shows. I don't think I've ever seen it.
So just so I can get I'll get to this in a minute, but it's also closed 2 shows. Now, as an opener, it was heavily used as an opener in 93, being used 4 times as an opener in 93 over 43 shows, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 4 times being used is pretty crazy. In 94, it was used 6 times out of 27 shows. If I do my math correctly, I believe that's 37%. So 37% as an opener. Now, it wasn't used again as an opener until... Jesus, 2000 in California in San Bernardino. It was used as a closer in South Dakota in 97, and it was used as a closer in East Troy, Wisconsin in 2000.
That was Pearl Jam. 2000, not Pearl Jam. Okay.
So Not much. The last time it was used as either an opener or a closer was in 2014 in Belgium at the Worcester Festival Park.
I'm excited to see what live performance you pulled out for us tonight.
You're just gonna have to sit back and wait, won't you?
All right.
It's been played 468 times, which actually was surprising to me. Not really. In retrospect to many other songs, like if, for instance, like if you were to click, I don't know, let's click Alive, for instance. Where is that on here? Whoops, shit.
That's gonna be 1,000.
That's gonna be 1,000. Fenway. I'm going to Fenway Park because I know that was played at Fenway. Alive. So Alive, which is probably one of the more popular songs played, has been played a total of 781 times. So it's been played half the amount of times as Rearview Mirror. And also, that's right, Tony, the 2000 Ice Bowl is when this was played in East Troy at Wisconsin. So when Rearview Mirror opened that Ice Bowl, which actually, as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, Live on Four Leagues podcast just did a whole review of the Ice Bowl for the podcast a couple weeks ago. So shout out to them. Fun. Yeah. So I mean, in theory, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, statistically speaking, it's not one of the more heavily played songs in general. It's just not. If you go to it based off of all the songs on Rearview Mirror, it is the third most popular played song off the album, behind Elderly Woman Behind a Counter in a Small Town and Daughter. So, and that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's a lot. Look, if you go look up Sleight of Hand, you know, it's like if that's been played, you know, 150 times, I'd be surprised.
Well, I'm going to click that right now and find out. Sleight of Hand has been played 49 times.
So that's when it's not a lot. 468 times is a lot of times. That's a lot of songs.
I'm assuming, and I don't know this for a fact, Even Flow has to be the most played song.
More than Alive, I guess.
Well, Alive's been, I can see right here, Alive's been played 781 times. Even Flow's been played 847. So it's got to be the most played song.
Here's a question for you. Do they have a song they played at every show?
No.
Okay.
Because I know they've never played, I know for a fact they haven't played Even Flow at every show. And I know for a fact they haven't played Alive at every show.
There we go.
So, right. And it would have to be a song off of 10. And the two most popular songs played off of 10 are Alive and Even Flow. So, and guess what? That, sir, was off the top of my head and not off the website.
That is pretty good.
I try.
It's the Anthony Pearl Jam Museum in your skull.
Yeah. So, listen, and if you are into this crazy amount of information, I want to go to www.livefootsteps.org. Thank Dave, who's put this website together.
Dave, for all that.
Dude, it is, listen, you think I really don't know all this shit. Like, it literally is just his absolute craziness coming together with all of his stuff, because his information is what keeps this show rolling. So thank you, Dave, and livefootsteps.org. Now, when you think of Rearview Mirror and you listen to this song, what comes to mind? What emotions or what thoughts come to mind?
For me,
mm-hmm.
As I mentioned, it's obviously it's just it's like a breakup song. It's just this person that's just basically giving this big fuck you to somebody who's been fucking them over for who knows how long, right? And whether it's, I say a breakup song, it could be a parent, or a significant other, or whatever. But for me, I don't think I necessarily am like super into like dissecting the lyrics and stuff as much as it is the energy about the song.
Sure.
Like I'll sing the lyrics, but it doesn't necessarily have to resonate with me lyrically to mean something to me as a song. Just to like, because I fucking love this song, And it's not like every time you hear it, you think of some bad relationship or some bad whether it was an ex or whether it's your parents or whatever. I don't think of high energy. I just love the build on it, and I love when it fucking is that breakdown
Mm,
right before Eddie just fucking blows the fuse, right? So, and I will say that a lot of that comes from, and as much as I've listened to the songs on, um, CDs or albums, it's still where it really resonates is always live.
yeah.
And to sit in a live crowd and to sing along with 50,000 people, you know, at the same time, all singing the same lyrics, and everybody may have different meaning behind it, but there's always passion and energy behind it. That is the greatest feeling ever. I
Dude,
love that.
dude, I couldn't agree with you more. I agree with everything you said. The one thing you kept calling this a breakup song, I really find this as like like a child having to leave home because of a bad situation. Because
Okay.
if so, just this is how I took it. So because I really tried break analyzing the song a little bit. It really does start with I took a drive today. Time to emancipate. I guess it was the beatings made me wise, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
about to give thanks or apologize, right? So I think of like, in a child or something like that, maybe like an older adult, child, a teenager, just had enough, they're
Right.
moving on.
But you can replace that with a female,
Oh,
right?
100%.
So, what I mean, trying to the beatings made me wise. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you're 100% correct. Let me ask you something too, because and I've said this on, and if you've never seen any of the other shows I do, I interview a lot of musicians and stuff, and we talk about lyrics. And a lot of times I stop them when they start telling me what the song's about because I don't really want to know. Because once like you kind of pull back the red curtain and you see what it's about, sometimes it could take away from your attachment to it. So like I personally don't want like I don't ever want to have a book from Pearl Jam that says this is what all these songs are about because I feel like
Right.
that ruins it for me. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. No, same way. It's probably no different than some it sometimes you just don't want to meet your heroes either because
Mm,
you also may find out they're assholes.
yeah,
So never been the case with anyone from Pearl Jam that I've
sure.
been fortunate enough to meet, but that is a fear that you have, and I totally get that from a lyrical standpoint when especially when it's something that's personal to you. And
Exactly.
so, but that's just the thing. Look, art, you can look at a painting and take five people look at a painting and they all see something different. And it's the same way with music. Uh, you listen to a song and these five people are going to get something different from it. And as you're pouring that glass of wine, it's the same thing with wine. Put five people in a room and pour them the same wine, and they're not all going to agree on it, right? And nobody's right or wrong because when it comes to art, nobody is right or wrong. And music is art and winemaking is an art and painting is so it just it's that personal connection that you have with it. And so I do agree with you that I wouldn't want an artist to come out and say this is what it means.
Hmm.
I'm okay with them saying something like um, this I wrote this because of this situation,
Sure.
right? But it doesn't mean that it's not adaptable to you. You can certainly take that and get meaning from it. And so, yeah.
Hmm. Hold on a second.
Also,
I got an
I, I'm gonna
interest.
I'm gonna say hello to Holly real quick
Oh, she
because
watching too?
she's listening or watching on her drive. So, I love you, baby.
I just got an interesting text message. Eddie Vedder talked about going on the message board one time and explaining what a song was about to someone who was asking, and the person who didn't know it was Ed just told him he was wrong and didn't know what he was talking about.
Yes, Jesus, who would have the nerve?
Oh, Jesus. I would love to know what Eddie's handle is. Like, it's got to be something fucking that's off the wall and stupid. Did
I'm
you,
sure there.
talking about Eddie real quick, did you happen to see his video of him singing with the Hawaiian singer in Hawaii?
That was incredible. He just jumped up there to sing Hawaii '78.
Mm.
I thought that was amazing. Uh, Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that was. Can you imagine what he felt like when he was up there and all of a sudden it's like it's Eddie Vedder just dropped $100 tip in your jar? That's just amazing.
mm,
What a cool dude though, right? I mean,
yeah, no, definitely.
and it looked like, I swear to God, it looked like he was in a shopping mall, like an open air shopping mall somewhere where they were just having dinner,
It did. It didn't
right?
look. It wasn't fancy. It was nothing. It was just kind of this.
No, no,
Wasn't many
that
people.
was
It was interesting.
that was cool.
So I don't know if you noticed this. Your wife has graced our presence with a comment.
I did, yes. Thank you. I love her. How are you?
But yeah, so good. So I mean, and the great thing about this, about everything coming out, it seems like even though there's still quarantine being placed and stuff, there is some normalcy coming out of stuff. I don't, like I said, I personally, this is just my opinion. I'm hoping that See Here Now festival happens. That is the only festival that I can see Pearl Jam doing this year because it's in New
That's
Jersey. New Jersey,
slated for September.
yes, end of September.
Yeah.
California is not allowing any music this year. That is their. It's a state that I just can't imagine they're going to give in to anything. But if there's any chance of Pearl Jam playing this year, which I would say it's 25-75. It's going to be See Here Now Festival, which I am, But anyway, it's just, it seems like we're getting some normalcy with Eddie doing his stuff. I know Richard Suvarud was doing some drum recordings for Jeff Ament's projects got going
Yeah,
on.
that's exciting.
I know something came out today with Stone and that newspaper he does in Seattle.
He does The Stranger. He works with The Stranger.
Correct.
Yeah.
The music video came out recently with that band out of Seattle. I forgot what it was called. Oh God, this is kill me now. It was
Him?
they just gave a music video where it was like Mike McCready's like a hologram playing with them.
But you're not talking about Painted Shield with Stone.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
No, it's
Have you
see I should
have you heard it yet?
what's that?
Have you heard Painted Shield yet?
No, I have not. What is this?
Okay, I'll send it to you. That's like a Stone project.
I'll have to listen to that.
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but no, but it seems like like I said, it seems like things are rolling, right? Things are going in the right place. Listen, first of all, we're gonna go on a little bit of a tangent once again. I got a lot of wine in me, so this is gonna be this is an open book. But with the whole Matt Cameron and Soundgarden situation, which hopefully they get all that shit. Black Tones is the band I was thinking of.
Brad. What's up, buddy?
Love Brad. Brad is an amazing
That's
human being.
amazing. I have this great picture of Brad and Sam and I and you know Zach Newman.
I do know Zach.
Yeah, so Zach and then my buddy Jeff Wells from Boise. I took Jeff to his very first Pearl Jam show in Spokane back in. They're gonna have to remind me, 13 or 14, and it was December, I believe. And what I remember was it was like 7 degrees outside when we lined up. So Jeff was flying in and was flying into Spokane at like noon. I drove up from Walla Walla. I left at 4 a.m. I got up there about 7. That we're already in line. Brad and Sam are already there. It's like 7 or 8 degrees outside, right? And but it was the greatest hang in what was arguably one of the coldest days I've ever spent outside. And we were all right in front of Mike. I've got a great photo I'll share with you of all of us. It was so fun. We also made the paper,
Oh
so that
wow.
was cool.
Well, listen, it's not like you don't need any more press. You got so much going on, which we'll get to just here shortly. But Don also says I just looked at the set list. His first show in December 9th, 1983, they opened with Rearviewmirror.
Wow!
So, good for him.
Wow!
Also, Art is watching, and he says he loves that the most Pearl Jam songs leave lyrics so that for open interpretation.
And Eddie's pretty good at that. I don't think he's, this is a pretty literal song, and I think a lot of them are open for interpretation, and so, but I think this is a pretty like, that somebody was abused emotionally or physically in some way. That's what the song's about. And then you know, saw them in your rearview mirror. I
That's
mean,
right. Moving forward.
that's get the fuck out of there.
That's
I love
right.
that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's one of the coolest bootleg Pearl Jam shirts I own. It's a I think it's a Cadillac, and it's a rear view mirror, and it's a girl looking at the rear view mirror, and then the background is a hitchhiker, and it says, and I saw you in my rear view mirror on the bottom. I got it. I think I got it in Philadelphia in 2009 when they did the 4 nights the show. They were just that was just a massive bootleg T-shirt situation going on.
Yeah, I don't remember that T-shirt. I kind of wish I had that though.
There's gonna be, it's interesting. So recently, as my studio, which is in absolute, like this doesn't put, I cover the good with the shit show that is in front of me. But I've been going through my shirts because as I went in the attic, I actually found like 30 more T-shirts, and I have to be cautious because like. I buy at least 2 to 3 Pearl Jam shirts a month. So like, and my wife knows, and if she knew how much, oh yeah, dude, oh yeah, man, it is.
You're off the website.
Oh, dude. So I have heavily got into like bootleg Pearl Jam T-shirts. Like so I found this one about 2 weeks ago on eBay, and it was 3 dragging heads, and it was from the 2016 tour. And it was from Fenway, and the dragons are wearing baseball caps, and it has like flames coming out of it, and on the back it has the tour dates, and it says Pearl Jam. Has absolutely nothing to do with Pearl Jam. Well, I think dragons and Pearl Jam are the last thing you would think about, but guess what? I need to have it. Will I ever wear it?
So what'd you do?
Probably not. Oh, I bought it.
So I bought it.
Okay. I had to have it.
I'm forwarding you a photo that Brad just sent. There you go. This is the front page of the Spokane something or other, Spokane Journal or whatever it was.
Let me see. I could probably get this up on the screen. Hold on a second. You talk. I'll get this up on the screen.
All right. I'm just gonna let you look at that. Looks like you've got a little Eddie Vedder autograph behind you there.
Do you not know the time? So this is a very important piece to me.
I can't see the whole piece. I can just see his signature and half of the.
Oh well, I'm moving that like it fucking matters. The camera's over there. Stupid. I'm moving the base of this. So this was from the 2011 Beacon Theater show.
Okay.
Do you know that story or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. 2011, I went and saw night 1 and night 2 at Beacon Theater with my dad's ex-girlfriend from a long time ago. Anyway.
That's a strange story already.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude, it is. I can't.
With your dad and his ex-girlfriend, or just your dad's ex-girlfriend?
Oh, just my dad's ex-girlfriend. I probably get along better with her than I do with my father. Anyway, so she didn't go to night 1. I went to night 1. I actually got a ticket, front row. I've been following Glenn Hansard for many years, so I know him socially through I actually knew him through MySpace days, and we met couple times through socially. Anyway, so after the show, I went through the side alley, and at the Beacon Theater is a road that goes off to the side where you go entrance in and out. It's the only place to go exit from. Glenn was outside. Nobody was talking to him, so I was talking to him. Now, I'm fat now, but at that point, I was about 50 pounds fatter, so I was heavy. And I was talking to him, and he's like, dude, do you need a drink? I said, yeah. So he brought me inside.
And you want a donut?
Yeah, I probably would have fucking took it too. Anyway, so I'm in the back. He gives me a glass of water. He says, I'll be right back. So, dude, I ended up in a room with Sean Penn and one of the Olsen twins.
What?
Yeah,
what?
Dude, no shit. I'm my back. I get closer to the wall. I sat there. I'm drinking. I'm sipping my glass of water because I'm like, as soon as I finish this water, I'm going to have to leave.
They're going to make you leave.
They're going to make me leave. So finally, I was talking to somebody about... At this time, I just started running because that was 2011. Yeah, 2013 is when I ran my race. Okay, so 2011, I just started running heavily. This woman came over to me. She started talking, and we started talking about weight loss. And she's like, talked about paddle boarding, and I said, I have no way of holding myself up. I'll fall over. Like I can't hold myself up. She goes, well, Ed and myself. She kept saying Eddie. She said Eddie and myself. We always, blah blah blah. I've noted this woman is. I'm like, well, I said I just started running. I'm trying to get to a half a marathon. It's my goal. Blah 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 blah. She goes, well, let me show you. So talk to you. So she brings Eddie over. We start talking. We talked for easily half an hour. It took everything out of me not to talk about Pearl Jam. I didn't for 30 minutes, never once mentioned Pearl Jam. We talked about my son. We talked about being married. We talked about the nonprofit I was into at the time. We talked about losing weight. We talked about being healthy. And then he talked about, what was it called? Someone had mentioned about how he clips his fingernails. Like, because there's a certain way.
Guitars.
Correct. Yeah. And that was a conversation that I wasn't a part of, but I was surrounded in that it was interesting. Anyway, 20 something minutes into it, he finally asks, he goes, so, he looked around and he saw
Who are you?
Who the fuck am I? I don't have a backstage pass. I don't have nothing. And I said, well, Glenn got me a glass of water. He came in. Anyway, he signs this for me. I had it. I asked him, I said, listen, I'm heading home. I said, would you mind signing? He said, no, not a problem. It's one of my favorite things because it was that moment. I got in my car. I called my wife. I said, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to run this half a marathon. I ended up doing it. And then I said, I was going to so many Pearl Jam shows, but I wasn't involved in the community. Like I wasn't like talking to anybody. I would go to shows and go home. Right. Besides my friend Paul at the time, I didn't know anybody. So I was like, I just want to get involved and get to know people. And then I was gung ho from that point, and I started to get to know people and get more heavily involved. So this was the kickstart to get me back into photography. When I left that place, because I talked to Eddie about being a photographer and stuff. He asked me what stopped me and all this shit. Got me into it. So it was this that kickstarted my ass to get me to photograph Pearl Jam, which then got me the motivation to start going out and meeting fans, to get me the motivation to start the shows that I started with the Stranger Tribe Live, and to get really moving forward with shit, to get to reach out to people like you and to do things like this. So the reason this is a prominent item on here is because I look at this as like meeting him and getting everything going was what kickstarted everything to put me in the seat I'm in now.
See what a positive story that is, right? That's a 30-minute encounter with somebody that had, and this is a person that already had a strong influence in your life.
Sure.
At least maybe not so much an influence, but somebody that meant a lot to you. And for them to give you 30 minutes of their time, it's just, and I've heard that story 1,000 times too. Not just about Ed, but about everybody in the band. And so that's just another awesome validation for why we follow this amazing band. That's cool.
I have met everyone in the band except Stone. And everyone I've met, I have a great story behind it. Whether it was Mike in Seattle and him praising Tim DiGiulio, which basically created this amazing friendship with him. Whether it was meeting Matt Cameron in Philadelphia and kind of goofing with him while he was with his sons going to a museum. With me and Jeff and my son having this amazing conversation, and then my son giving him the Lego pins that Jeff ended up wearing in that photo shoot that was on his Instagram for a while, which is mind-blowing to me that a pin that my son created is something that's on one of his hats. So it's all these great stories. Stone, for some reason, has just been, I don't know, it just never crossed paths. But I don't know.
He's a good dude.
I've heard nothing but great things about him. But I mean, it's the one thing you have said in the beginning of this episode that's interesting to now is that like we always worry about meeting people that we look up to because we worry about like, is that relationship going to be ruined because we're going to see a side of them that we weren't meant to see?
Right.
In my experiences with everyone in the band that I have met, or even the people that work around Pearl Jam, they are who you think they are. Now, I would say this. If you met Eddie Vedder and ran up to him and started telling him how his music saved your life and that you try to hug him or you try to do that could change the situation. But if you act like the person that you normally are to a normal person, treat him like a normal person, I can only imagine that you would have the same experiences that I've had with everyone in the band that I've had.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I would hope so as well.
Yeah.
I've only had one bad experience with a musician, and that's about it. And I'll leave that.
I'm not going to ask who.
I'll tell you off the air. Because
All right,
it
perfect.
is a very popular musician. Anyway,
All right.
Rearview Mirror. Before we get into the sound, I want to ask about here recently you posted that you're working with Sub Pop, sleight of hand sellers, and I believe it's sleight of hand sellers, or is it the wine club that you're doing it with?
Yeah, it's the winery, sleight of hand. So we've been sort of loosely partnered with them for the past 4 or 5 years with our wine club. And when we send out our wine club shipments every 6 months, we also send out a digital download of brand new Sub Pop music that Megan Jasper from Sub Pop curates for us. And she'll pull stuff off their new catalog and throw this in our digital download, and we'll send it out. And so, but for years, I've been dreaming of actually, our wine club is big enough and we have enough people in our wine club now that listen to vinyl that I could actually go and press our own vinyl, working with not just Sub Pop, although that's going to be one of our main suppliers, but I've got connections in other places as well. Fat Possum Records in Memphis. If Chris and Tony are watching right now, they know Fat Possum. Um, so I've got access to their catalog, and as long as you meet the minimums for pressing an album, uh, they'll do a special pressing for you. As long as they own the rights to the music. And um, so I reached out to my friend Matt Vaughn from Easy Street Records, and he'd be a great guest for you, by the way, and I'd be happy to make an introduction.
That'd be beautiful. I
Matt
appreciate that.
owns the greatest record store in North America. Easy Street Records in Seattle is truly a museum. It's just an incredible place. Um, but Matt and I decided to partner up and work with not just Sub Pop, but different labels, and getting records that have not been in circulation pressed again that we can then sell to our own. He has a great customer base, and we've got one as well, and ours would be automatic because they're being our wine club. Um, but if you collect vinyl at all other
I
than
do.
Pearl Jam stuff? Okay.
No,
So,
so I mean, I don't collect it nearly as much as I used to. I just don't have the time to listen to it.
right. So
But
I work with I use Discogs, which is
yep,
our like a cataloging um, uh, program, but it's also a marketplace, and it's a great place to go search for if you're looking for stuff that's been out of print for a long time. It's a great place to go find that stuff. And the one thing I started noticing was that I'm on a couple of subscription services like Vinyl Me Please, and oh gosh, there's one out of Southern California, but it's basically a monthly subscription, and they send you whatever vinyl that they go find, and there's 180 grams, it's colored, it's numbered, and it's a repressing. It's a really high quality, it's a high quality repressing of some album that hasn't been in circulation for years. And the minute you get them, you'll go on Discog and enter it. You look at, you bought it for $35, right? A month later, that thing's worth $100 because they only made a
so
thousand
many.
copies of
Yeah,
it, and everybody wants that Al Green repressing or that fastbacks. And so that's what Matt and I started talking about. Okay, let's find stuff that hasn't been in circulation for a while. And so I think our first pressing coming out in the fall is going to be the Fastback's first release. And so I
shit,
know that you were just talking to Richard Stuverud a
I
couple weeks
did.
ago. And I think Richard was on that first album. I'm not positive, but I'll have to go look that up. So that's kind of what we're starting for Sleight of Hand. We're going to start a vinyl club. We're going to be 4 times a year, and we're going to go. I'm going to work with a lot of the local bands that I know in Seattle. So they may be old records that haven't been in circulation. They may be new bands like Danny Newcomb, and my buddy Dave Place is in a band with Regan Hager and Alex DeVincent
Mm,
from Green. If you remember Alex from Green River,
yeah.
uh, they're in a band called The Deception, and we've talked about putting something out with them. Um, there's just a lot of cool stuff out there that beyond the new stuff. Pigeon Head hasn't been in circulation in 15 years. Sean Smith, if you know Sean Smith,
I know Sean
from
Smith.
so his other band, Pigeon Head from the mid '90s with Sub Pop. Um, there's just a bunch of cool stuff that I know people would love to hear, and I feel like this is a great avenue to go deliver that. So that's why we decided to start this. It'd be
Dude,
cool.
that's really awesome. Well, that's awesome. Amy Litchfield says yes. And your buddy Chris says, sign me up.
And Chris has a free subscription already. If you guys are ever in Memphis and you want the best, you're a beer guy, right?
I am a beer guy.
Yeah, Chris Shermer is a beer. He's a beer guy. He's a wine guy, but that guy knows more about beer and especially in your neck of the woods than anyone I've ever met. And so, if you want some really cool beers that you probably can't get up in Virginia,
Hmm.
I'll put you in touch with Shermer. You guys can do some
Oh, I
swap.
was going to say that's kind of like in between both of you, but it's actually closer to me than it is you. So that's really not like a meeting place for us.
We were Shermer's been up to Walla Walla. I think it was 3 years ago, and came in, kind of during harvest and stuff. But I met him he was working in a wine shop that his boss at the time, James Perry, was managing, and I hit it off with this staff, and I'm still friends with like 5 people that worked at this one wine shop in Memphis from 10 years ago. And it's just Memphis is one of the great cities in North America. If you've never been to Memphis, go visit it. Go see all the record stores. Go see all the recording studios. It's just awesome.
Um, it has come through from a very reliable source that Richard was on the first album for the Fastbacks.
All
So
right.
I think once you get that pressing going, we're going to have to do something with him as celebration for
Hmm.
the album coming out.
Well, Richard is going to be singing at my wedding in June. So I've got him in. I'm going to get married. I'm getting him married in Sonoma, and Richard's going to come up, and he wrote this fucking beautiful love song during the pandemic, and he released it back in, I think, like November or December. And and I know he's got a couple other tunes that he can sing. I really invited him just so he can hang out and party at a wedding, but I wanted to sing a couple songs too. So
Dude, the only thing I appreciate Richard is like he's just real. Like what you're getting in an interview. I've met him a couple times. He's just the same person across. He's such a great guy. I'm just gonna throw this out there, Trey. I don't know if you have anyone marrying you. I am legally able to officiate the wedding. So if you need someone to do the I do's for
I
you,
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I've got my good friend Jeff Whitman, who owns Ledbetter Winery. That's a weird name, right? I wonder where he got that
I
from.
want to.
In
Interesting.
in California, he's going to be our officiant for the ceremony. But thank you. In case Jeff isn't around in 3 months,
That's right. That's
but
right.
he better be.
That's right. I can be the backup hitter. I'm sitting on the bench. You
All
just
right.
call me up.
All
I'm
right.
ready for
Perfect.
it.
On the bench. Perfect.
I got you covered. You and Holly need me. Come right in. That's right. But no, dude, that's really cool that you're doing this and you're bringing in music and kind of giving this new format for people that want to collect. Because the one thing about vinyl, especially the heavy listeners nowadays, it is a collection piece. People want to hold it. People want to have it. It's more than just listening to music. It's a whole experience. So it's cool that you're doing that. And the fact you're turning it into like the wine vinyl community is pretty awesome. So
Thanks.
let's do this. We've been talking for an hour, 16 minutes. Let's listen to Rearview Mirror. We'll come back. We'll close up the show. We'll take any more questions that we have. I've seen a few come through,
All right.
and then we'll close the show because this has been probably the longest show we've done.
This is a long one. But
This has been a long one, but if there's anybody besides my wife that I'd want to spend a Tuesday evening with drinking wine, it's you, Trey. So this, sir, is for you. This is Rearview Mirror, 2016, Night 1, Fenway Park.
I was there. Woo-hoo.
how fucking much I miss live
Oh man,
music.
that was so good.
Oh, and by the way, I was wrong. It
Telling you,
wasn't
man.
Fenway Park,
Listen,
Chicago,
that was Chicago. Yeah.
2016.
So yes. Uh, was that show? That's a great show. Man,
Trey,
oh man, that was
Trey, I
so
think
good.
I hope one day we can be at a show together.
We will. What do you mean? It's gonna happen. If it's not gonna be, it's not 2021. It's gonna be 2022. It's fine.
I wonder if
It's
they'll
gonna
do
happen.
Pearl Jam 30+1.
Let's see. It is. Yeah. I mean, right. This would be Pearl Jam 30, wouldn't it?
Yeah, this September would be.
Damn.
God,
That's crazy.
it's just insanity. Listening to that, how much I wanted to jump up like an idiot with my hands in the air, and just
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm wondering. I have no idea what your live feed looks like out to the world, but hopefully I'm not included in it because I'm just an air drumming, air guitar.
No. So I'm able
I'm in
to
the
see
corner.
you.
I can see me, and I'm like, I don't know if they can see this, but this is what I'm doing.
No, it's
Fucking
so.
chilling.
I feel like I need to have that as like a blooper reel because I had the Copper Trees on this past week, and while we were listening to their song, like their actions of hearing their music being played live was beautiful, and then I'm watching you and me go off like a bunch of effing idiots off to the side of me with my hands in the air with you fucking with me. I'm going
Right.
crazy. You're doing air drumming like on money on point. I personally don't know of anyone who air drums better than you, Trey. As a matter of fact, I might be sending you.
I hear the Malbec calling. I hear the Malbec calling right now.
Oh, stop it now! Oh, stop it!
mean,
I am officially out.
That's a good. Yeah, me too. I'm on my last glass, so. But I'm also 2 beers ahead of you, so I don't know where you were at before then. So.
Well, me and my wife and my family went out for dinner, and I had a glass of Blue Moon. We went to Olive Garden. My son had soccer practice. Talked about his initiative he's starting in this week, and drank a glass of beer because this is going to be.
I know he's been kicking ass in soccer. Yeah.
Oh man, he got pushed. My 11-year-old son will be playing on the national team this summer, which is
All I can say is free college. Heyo.
yeah, dude. It is so expensive for him to play soccer. It is so expensive. He does private lessons about 3 times a week. I mean, it's just crazy. But I mean, he is a very talented kid. Won a championship this weekend. I mean, great kid, doing great things. He's about to start an initiative.
But he's also raising money. It's not like he's.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, so
in
the fall season, he raised the money for breast cancer awareness. He started a campaign called Keep Her for a Cure. Starting next week, he has this initiative to have people pledge to be against bullying, and he wants to get 1,300 people to pledge that they're going to back people that have been bullied because it bothers him to see kids being bullied. So he has this new campaign that he's starting. He'll have a video coming out this weekend to have people that basically will hold a sign saying, "I pledge to be against bullying" with his hashtag, so he can get this going so that people will follow along to be against. Because right now, we were looking at statistics the other day, like, it's mind-blowing the suicide rate this past year with the pandemic and how it affected kids that were bullied. And for my son who's 11,
it's because they were all online, right? So,
yeah, dude, it's nuts.
And
I mean,
we know as adults what it's like to sit behind a computer screen. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to be bullied in person, but I can guarantee you that half the people who bully that bully online wouldn't do it in person. You know what I mean?
No.
I think it's more rampant these days with kids in the digital age because it's so much easier to say mean shit on a phone or a keyboard. So that's awesome. I'm glad your son's doing that. It's amazing.
Well, one thing I've always tried to push into my child, to really make sure that he understood is like, we're giving, we give a lot to you, whatever you want, you can have, but you need to make sure that there's going to be a lot of people in this world that don't have what you have, and that you shouldn't look at them any differently, that you should be able to have their backs and be there for them, because we're all equals in this world, and it's all about giving to others. And, and yeah, my son, like I said, started this campaign a couple of years ago, and he doesn't want to keep asking for money to donate. He wanted people to be, to really stand up and say they're going to do something.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if you're listening to the show, I'll probably be pushing this for the next couple of weeks. And then also I have a big festival that I'll be announcing April 25th. Stay tuned. There will be a big musical festival, online festival of some sort, with musical artists and poster artists raising money for Parkinson's disease, through the Touring Fan Live. More information coming soon. So a lot of things coming over the next few weeks. I'm pretty excited about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't ever sleep. I just keep rolling.
Trey, you're rocking all the. Look at your guest list. That's kind of on the dais and.
Well, crap, the big thing here is that I took a break after Stranger Tribe Live stopped for a little bit, and that will be starting up in a few months again, after whatever. But I took a break. I came back in. There was a couple people that wanted to come back in and work with me again, and I enjoy interviewing people. I enjoy doing this platform. I enjoy talking to people. That's how we met. But yeah, so this week we have tomorrow we have Brian Fox coming on. We're going to talk about the prints he did with Pearl Jam. He's done every portrait of every member of the band. He's going to be talking about that. We have Carrie coming on next Wednesday. Thanks to you. We're gonna be talking.
Oh, good. You guys made that happen. That's awesome.
Correct. Yeah. So Carrie's coming on. We're gonna be talking to her. The following week we have Robert Bruno coming on. Robert Bruno is actually gonna be dropping a Pearl Jam piece. This is the first time I'm talking about this. A very low number exclusive Pearl Jam piece. Don't you worry, Trey. I got you covered.
I was going to say that some of the hosts of this co-host of your show have access to it, right?
You're taken care of. Yes, I will take care of you. And then, dude, it's getting crazy. Jason Hill. I don't know if you're familiar. Jason Hill was the lead singer of Louis XIV. He was a guitar recording artist for David Bowie. He has been on. He worked and helped record the Killers' debut album. I'll be announcing. He'll be coming on the show to talk about Bowie, Louis XIV, the Killers, and a ton of other artists he's worked with. I have a lot of people lined up. Jackson Pines just reached out to me recently. Their new album's coming out soon. They want to release
Is that the Band of Horses guy?
No. Well, I guess you already said that. So yeah, the original. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna have one of the original members of Band of Horses coming on the show in a couple of weeks, middle of March, and then also Jackson Pines, who's the band out of New Jersey, I'm a big fan of. Their new album's coming out soon. We're gonna be debuting their music on this show. So, and that's just the beginning. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of great things happening all the way through April. So I'm really excited about what's coming about.
How do they follow you, Anthony? How do we find out about this stuff?
Sure. So as you can see in the bottom left corner, there's a Touring Fan Live logo. Definitely go check out the Touring Fan Live on Facebook and Instagram. You can check it out there. What's cool about this show is while we do a live show, the show is then put out on a video format that's not live afterwards on Facebook. Our YouTube channel has been taken down, but that is legally being put back up here in the next couple weeks. If you want to listen to just the audio only version of this, 24 hours after every show, you can go to iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or any place that you listen to music or podcasts and listen to this show. And then starting April 1st of this year on the SiriusXM platform, you can go to the app only, not if you have it in your car, but the app only. And you can actually look up the Touring Fan Live, and all of the shows will be there for you to listen to, including this show, Let's Talk Vinyl with Trey and Anthony.
That's awesome.
I just keep moving. It's kind of like Rearview Mirror. It's, this has been a very interesting year. There's been some crazy shit that happened to me. A lot of that stuff's in my rear view. I'm pushing forward.
Listen, I feel like I've been abused for the past 4 years, and I'm fucking looking at him in my rearview mirror too. So.
Well, I will say this. I reached out to Trey back in June, And I said, Trey, I got this idea for a show. And I was fully expecting you to say, Anthony, I don't got time for your shit. And that's fine. And if you did, I would have totally been cool with it. But you said right away, dude, this sounds like an excellent idea. Let's do this. 6 episodes in, I can't thank you enough. You've educated me on wine. You've been a great friend. I have been able to impress my friends with your knowledge. So I use you as my Google for wine. But yeah, man,
happy to be there for you.
But let's do this. I'm gonna look on the calendar real quick because we need to end the show. We're an hour and 33 minutes in. This show is by far the longest episode. But
a good one.
But hey, here's the thing. As of right now, 4,700 live viewers. So we've done something right. And hey, here's another fun fact. Based on Buzzsprout.com, our last episode, even though it had technical difficulties, had 8,200 downloads to listen to in an audio format. So
this
either
is like the Howard Stern show right here.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody fucking call us and throw us some sponsorship money. Looking at the calendar, Trey, I'm looking at next month. Is there any dates that you need to black out?
I'm available, man.
All right. So next month there is
whenever you want. Thursday night, whatever.
All right. Do we want to go for the 23rd? It's a Tuesday.
That sounds great.
Can I pick the song?
Yes.
Can we do Of the Earth?
That's an interesting choice. We can do Of the Earth, sure.
And
I mean that's a played 5-time song.
I know. And there's I think March leading into April. Well, you know what? Hold on. Isn't April? Yeah, I fucked up. April is Earth Day, not fucking March.
Well, let's do April. We'll do Of the Earth.
March. You pick the song if I'm picking April.
Don't make me pick the song. I picked the last 3 or 4 songs.
All right, let me think. You know what? We're gonna go with a unique one.
Why don't we go with a song off the last album? We really haven't talked anything.
But what statistic would we use, or what video would we use?
Let's not. We won't give a shit about statistics. Let's talk. We can talk about the song.
Okay.
We can talk about how great it's going to be live, and then we can field a bunch of questions about. I mean, listen. I love the new album, but I love all the albums. I really do. So, Tony said he saw Tesla. That's his last show. Tony, 1988 called. Got back.
But you know what, Tony? I will tell you this. I hope to see you at a Pearl Jam show.
I was supposed to be in Nashville with Tony back in last year.
Dude, I was planning on just about going to every single fucking show minus 2.
I wish I could do that.
Listen, I had to do a lot of shit at home to try to be able to do that. Like I had to. So Brad is saying find a lost dog. Should we go to Lost Dogs?
Brad is so smart.
I love Brad. I
do too. That's a.
Hey Trey. Trey, suggestion. How about the song Stranger's Tribe?
Who just suggested that? You did?
I didn't get any text message.
Song.
I think that is the perfect song for next month.
Boom. Done. There we go. It's settled.
Next month on
March 23rd.
We're gonna break down Stranger's Tribe, and it is gonna be a good one. Do you know? I guess you'll let me know what bottle of wine sooner or later. We'll post that on the page. We'll have this flyer, and also I'm gonna say this: if through when we announce the show to when the show airs, if you share the post and tag me and Trey in it, and tag the show in it, I will post a poster that I will give away from my collection to you for helping promote the show.
Share the love.
To share the love. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And once again, if you are just now tuning in or missed some of the show and you don't want to watch it or go back to it, listen, if you're at work and you don't want to hear your boss bitch in the background or you're driving on a long road trip, Definitely check us out, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, and starting April 1st, you can go to SiriusXM iTunes app and look up the Touring Fan Live. This show, also you can listen to Rob and Anthony's World Tour, which recently had Tim DiGiulio as a special guest. You can listen to my interviews with Jim Mazza, Justin Hampton, tomorrow with Brian Fox. So definitely good shit. So
favorite all-time poster artist, I tell you. I love Justin. My first time I met Justin Hampton was at Pearl Jam 20, and they must have had like 20 poster artists there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pearl Jam 20, and he was the first. I ran right up to his booth, and he had made. Have you seen the one that's called Visage, Visage? It's just Eddie's face.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like he didn't say Eddie Vedder, it didn't say Pearl Jam anywhere. It was just this sort of silhouette. So I got number 1 of 50 in a gold foil print, whatever. But I got to hang out with Justin that night, which was so great. And I've got to know him over the past 10 years. And he is just an incredible human being. I loved your interview with him. He was great.
Well, I really appreciate that. I try to, when I interview people or talk to anybody in general.
A couple times, right?
So Justin has been on my show 3 times. He's been actually on 3 different versions of the show. He was on the Tap Time Live with Anthony, on the first ever Strangers Tribe segment. He was on Strangers Tribe Live, and then he came on to this show. Yeah, he's been everywhere.
Well, he's awesome. So I'm glad you got him on.
Dude, absolutely an awesome guy. And he's done some amazing things for amazing organizations. So yeah, definitely shout out to him. So
I saw Brad's post there, and so that's a great point. Stranger's Tribe deserves a strange wine. So I'm going to think on that, and I'm going to come up with something that, listen, here's the thing. Anthony normally shops at the Food Giant.
The Food Lion.
Food Giant. And there really aren't a whole lot of choices for strange wines, but thankfully, today, Anthony found a new wine shop.
I didn't find shit. You found it.
I found it for Anthony in his own fucking hometown. Or at least 15 minutes from his house, at least. So what I'm thinking is I will be in touch with that wine shop.
I feel like you're my dad and you're calling the school to make sure I'm doing something right.
I will. I'm just gonna have it picked out. It's gonna be behind the counter for you to pick up. Right? Instead of you having to make a decision, I'm gonna make the decision for you. You can go pick it up. It'll be so easy for us.
Easy is really appreciated. I appreciate that.
All right.
Brad says cab.
Yeah, no, that's we have Cabernet Sauvignon and you have Cabernet Franc. Those are 2 different grapes, right? I think that was cab for. I don't know. I don't know where you're going with that. I think Brad had a bottle of wine tonight too. That's okay.
Listen. Oh God. Slip. I don't know.
Don wants a flip side, but the problem is, Don, that flip side, Black Circle, Rearview Mirror, those aren't available anymore. I'm sold out of those wines.
We're just gonna have to go into Trey's basement.
I don't want to talk about wines that people can't get. I think if the goal of this is to educate, tonight was great.
Yeah.
We got to talk about a grape in general. Yeah. I tried the same grape from Napa as you tried from Argentina. And if the goal is to do a little bit of wine education, that's a good one right there.
Dude.
That's the light years. That's a force of nature.
And you know what I just realized? I still got some left.
No, don't drink that. That's got to be so old. When's the last time you had that? It's like
last show.
A beer. You get to drink it. You can't. It's not going to last more than 2 days.
God darn it! Why don't you tell me these? I don't know this shit. I thought you put a cork in it. It was good to go.
Listen, use that. Just throw that in some spaghetti sauce.
I got you. Well done.
All right. But no, it's no, you can't. No. I don't mean to say it no, you fucking idiot. I mean to say it no, don't do that, and I'll teach you some other etiquettes. So.
Don says he's got one. I guess he's shipping it to us.
All right, Don, you need to share that with Anthony, buddy.
Well, listen,
It's a great bottle of wine. 97 points. You've done it.
Trey, I can't thank you enough. I listen to all the viewers tonight. I guess we hit a nerve with this song. I would say that next episode is going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one. Strangers Tribe, and we're going to find a weird varietal. I'll make sure I have the varietal to you by tomorrow.
Oh yeah, whatever works. Yeah, I'll put the flyer out this week. Also,
give everybody a chance to go find it, right? If they don't have that in their cellar already.
Sure. Definitely. Also, Strange Tribe is one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs, possibly the top 3 favorite Pearl Jam songs of all time. So I'm excited about this one. Top 3, yep.
All right. Thank you, Brad, for suggesting that.
Well, Trey, this has been one of my favorite shows I've done with you. An hour and 43 minutes of the most off-the-wall crazy shit. But listen, I would have it anyway. To everyone that's tuned in, to everyone that's listening at home or listening live or listening through your podcast, thank you so much. Definitely check out. Also, just launched this week, www.thetouringfanlive.com. Check it out. Also check out, we have new people working for The Touring Fan Live, including Paul Wirt, who is now a writer for the show, who just wrote his first article. It's on the page. More information coming out, including this show, which will have its own page on the website. Until next time, I'm Anthony. That's Master Trey. You are listening to Let's Talk Vinyl with Trey and Anthony.